What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm pretty excited to do a simple, quick, fun SketchUp tutorial on how to model built-in shelves. So this is super popular. It's a way to kind of maximize your space, and it's really popular for like libraries, offices, home studies, or even like multi-purpose rooms where you have a lot going on in one room. Built-in shelves are a really great way to combine like bookshelves, cabinetry, and often a workspace like a desk. The reason I'm doing this tutorial is we're actually building an office room in our house that is going to have built-ins. So the model we make here today will actually be used for built-in shelves. So it's kind of a very useful practical exercise for me and a good opportunity to share experience with all of you. So from a new model, and I'm using SketchUp Free Pro Online. I don't pay for, or SketchUp Free Online. I don't pay for Pro or any other versions, although it's a great software, so I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't because I'm cheap. All right. The most important part of making built-in shelves is understanding the space you have for the shelves. That should be kind of logical, but I like to start kind of from understanding my 2D footprint. And so this is very specific to my room. If you are modeling based on a room in your house, you should make the space that you have for it. That should be kind of logical for you. But if you want to do this just as an exercise, this wall in our office is 7 feet 2 inches. If you're from literally anywhere else in the world and you use meters and millimeters, just adjust accordingly. This is 7 feet. This is 12 feet. This is 11 feet. And then this little zone is a hallway that goes to the rest of the house. So we're super lucky. We have a 1-story house, but it has 10-foot ceilings, which is just awesome. And it gives us an opportunity to build some really cool bookshelves. So yeah, we have 10-foot ceilings. So just make the room for you, kind of make the enclosure that you're putting your shelves in. That's not meant to be the meat of this project. I do have a video on YouTube on just like how to model a room, and this video get added to my SketchUp playlist. So if you're a super duper beginner to SketchUp, feel free to check out some of the previous tutorials. This one is really specifically meant for built-in shelves. So I'm kind of assuming you have the space that you want to drop your shelves in kind of in mind. And something that's really important for built-in shelves, in my opinion, is that you keep in mind any electrical that you might be covering up. Depending on your code, it could either be not allowed to cover up an outlet, or you need to find a way to kind of extend that outlet and make it available on the sides of whatever you're doing. So this is our room, and this back wall here is where we're gonna put the built-in shelves. I think I just drew some hideous lines. Let's undo those. But yeah, this back wall here is where we're going to put our shelves, which means I need to be kind of conscious of limitations. And so if I come 50 inches from this wall, and then from that point, I need to go 18 inches up. So 18 inches up. I have an outlet right here. That's a little bigger than I need to make it. I'm just going to use a very simple rectangle. It might seem like kind of boring and unnecessary, but what you'll see is when we drop these shelves in, you have to have a plan for outlets and understand like if you're covering them. Because what we're going to do with our shelving is we are going to cover not this outlet, but the outlet that's over here. It's 18 inches off the ground and 12 inches from this wall. So it's 12 inches out here and 18 inches up here. So I hope that was 18 inches. I'm sure it was. So all right, those rectangles aren't dimensionally accurate, but that's approximately where the outlet is. And then the other thing is there's a window over here that it's important to know, like if you're going to put something super close to a window, you want to be pretty clear on what it's going to look like. And so the window starts at 34 inches off the ground, which is here. And then, it's something like 3 feet deep. That part doesn't actually matter too much. And then the window is 58 inches high. I think the window's actually deeper than that, but that doesn't matter because the dimension that we're concerned about is mostly making sure our shelving doesn't obstruct part of the window. A lot of great models don't fully consider like stuff that gets in the way, and then you have this awesome 3D plan and you forgot about an electrical box or something. Okay, boring stuff done. We have the room that we're dropping the shelves into made here. If you want, sometimes I'll take a moment at this point and I'll like pop into wood and I'll throw down like a floor, or I'll just grab colors. Like I'll say, okay, that's the color of my floor and these are the colors of my wall to help me remember like what's going on. Wow, those are terrible wall colors. To help me remember. Okay, regardless of colors, whatever, walls and whatever you want to make, let's move into the actual first part of built-in shelves. And super broadly put, like built-in shelves are kind of made up of a desk, and then typically there's an opening for legs, and then typically there's shelving on the sides, and some people would even do like high shelving up here. Doesn't matter how you want to do it. I'm going to get rid of all these lines because that's not exactly what we're building. But the core of most built-in shelf systems is a spot for a desk. Some people would do an entertainment center or TV and maybe like an electric fireplace here. So whatever your specific application, the concepts we're doing here are pretty much the same. And so just keep that in mind. And if you have any questions as you watch this video, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I'm pretty prompt in getting back to those. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to use an IKEA dresser as the left and right lower down side of our built-in system. So I have something I can reference for dimensions. So basically, this is 42.5 inches wide and 37 3/4 inches tall. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the feet off of ours and make it 42.5 inches wide. Now we're kind of into the specifics of our application. So just if you're wondering where any of these dimensions come from, that's kind of where. But if you have some different thing you want to use, then you go ahead and do that. So just to recap though, those are 42.5 inches wide. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to build them out from the wall a little bit because standard desk depth is 24 inches. So we're going to go ahead and make these kind of rectangles, I guess, that are from both sides 42.5 inches wide and then 24 inches deep because that's just kind of a really easy to use standard desk size. And we're going to use kind of the normal desk height of like 32 inches. So we'll say, just for this model, we'll say 32 inches, okay? And we're gonna really just start with a cube. And to be honest with you, a lot of 3D modeling starts with, basic shapes like circles and cubes. And we'll come back maybe at the end. Maybe I won't even do it in this video because it's kind of the more like minutia at that point. It's not that important to draw in where the individual shelves are. That's useful in a way for planning, but it is also like not, in my opinion, not the most critical thing to do to get like a big picture idea of your. I'm just struggle busting because I'm trying to talk. I'm not going to worry too much about drawing in where these specific shelves go just yet. There we go. And what you can see already is I need to have a plan for that outlet. So I'm actually going to leave this wall transparent for now because I need to remind myself that I'm going to have to do a little wiring here. I'm going to have to probably reroute it and put it on the side here so it's still a usable outlet. But in any case, maybe I will close it off. But there is an outlet back there, and that's important to remember. Now, I've got these two dressers, okay? These are basically stock things I can buy from IKEA. And I know I said I wasn't going to put shelves on. Those aren't dimensionally accurate shelves. They're just to remind me that's a dresser, and that's kind of what's going on there. Okay? Now, let's say that I want to do like a sanded finished plywood, 2 layers thick. So like 3/4 inch plywood, 2 layers thick. That would be 1.5 inches high. And that is going to, dagnabbit, here we go. that is going to run the entire span, okay? Because this is kind of my desk layer. So when you go back to like a built-in desk, built-in shelves kind of system, that is really like your desk surface, which is going to run from end to end in the entire, there we go, the entire like surface. Here is that. Okay. Yeah, and typically what I would do is make sure that the whole thing actually like closes up, because you want it to look like a solid piece of wood. All right. So what you can see now, just from some basic cubes, this is actually dimensionally accurate to our room. And this is a really cool looking kind of like dresser, desk space dresser. And just to remind myself, like I need to have some bracing under here. This is a long span to go. And if you have 1.5 inches of plywood, it's probably okay. But typically with something this big, what I would do is I would add like a half of a 2x4. So that's 3.5 inches cut in half. That'd be like 1.75 inches down. And then I would just screw that into the wall. So that I have, and then it would come out like 1.5 inches, maybe more than that. Let's do 3 inches. Okay. Dang. Sometimes I get turned around. Okay. Let's put a different color on this to remind ourselves. This is like a bracer. And that's really helpful. Dang. That's really helpful in these longer spans of desk. And what you can see actually is like if you were standing here in your room looking at your desk, you're not even going to see that bracer. But it provides a lot of strength when you start putting like monitors or a TV or a laptop, or even just leaning on this. It starts helping out a lot there. Okay, so let's take a look at the second big part of built-in bookshelves, which is the shelving. And let's go ahead and make it the same, like 42 inches that our desk is, that our bottom desk is. And let's do, okay, stop. I'm struggling so hard and just making my lines. That's not supposed to be the hard part. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the shelves shallower. We're going to make them 18 inches deep, which is actually, let's do even less than that. Let's make them 15 inches deep. So that's kind of standard bookshelf depth. If you just Google standard bookshelf depth, you'll see like what different like various home construction companies and everything else suggest. And 15 is generally like plenty deep for decor or books or anything else that you might want. So we'll do 15 deep and 42 inches wide, and these are going to be some pretty cool bookshelves. All right, now I'm going to close it all off as if it was a case, but then I'm going to delete out the insides. I'm going to delete out the face here because we are going to, now I'll make it a different color. It's easier to work on. Now we're going to put shelves in this, but I'm going to kind of do them simultaneously because I think that's a little smarter. So let's do the same thing over here. Okay, let's draw in, there we go. Let's draw in a 42-inch 15-inch depth. There we go. Another bookshelf, and we'll have this one also come up to the ceiling. And this is not like a beginner, my first SketchUp tutorial, but it's pretty sweet how often you can do almost everything in a model, especially for home renovations and stuff. Like how often you can do that with this SketchUp like auto snap tool, where it'll kind of pick a blue, green, or red axis, one of your three like axes, and snap to it, so that you can kind of just skip the sort of tedious process of like aligning everything. You can just snap to an axis. Okay, so a bit of a tangent there, but we're good. All right, now the bottom shelf, I actually want it to be like a tall shelf. And so 16 to 18 inches is generally thought of as the, dimensions for like a tall shelf, like a decor shelf. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split the middle for mine, plus Caitlin, my wife picked like kind of a random sizing for the shelving, but let's say that we're using some sort of standard like 1-inch board for all these shelves. What you can see, it's a like nice-ish feature of SketchUp, but every time I close a surface by drawing a new line, it wants to close that surface for me. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to make a 1-inch deep shelf, but I'm trying to make sure that it's symmetrical on both sides. And it keeps like closing off the zone for me. It's not a big deal. I just have to go back in and delete the face a lot. So after this first shelf is done, what I'll probably do is just leave the face there till I draw the rest of the shelves, okay? But here's a little 1-inch shelf at 17 inches of height. And again, basically this entire model so far has just been drawing lines and rectangles in kind of like logical spaces. But we're starting to get a really clear, good-looking picture of built-in shelves. And these, I think it's fun because I know that we're actually going to build these out and get to see the finished product. So hopefully, like that's kind of exciting for everyone too, is to know that like their product is actually going to exist somewhere, which is pretty cool. One thing I'm just thinking about now that I should have done, it's not too late, but I'm not going to do it just candidly because it would be kind of hard. Oh, what the heck? I say that and here I'm going to go. Like this wood is going to have some depth too. So like standard sizing might be a 1/2 inch for all of this wood. So we can go ahead and do that if we want. Maybe you want thicker wood. Maybe you like the look of like 3/4 inch or full inch wood. But anytime you put something down and you actually plan on like building it, like turning it into a model, you have to remember that materials have thicknesses. That might sound like silly or super simple. But if you want a 36-inch opening and you put like something that's 1 inch deep on either side, you have to make sure you're remembering how thick the material is. So for me, I'll say, what the heck, we build all these out with 1/2 inch board or maybe like a particle board or something. Doesn't really matter. Just remember to like throw some thickness in. And you can also tell the model it looks a little bit more professionally done when you start doing it that way. Other than the fact that it now gives me a cavity here, which is fine. Good heavens. I've done something horribly wrong. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We're golden. Everyone's fine. Everyone stay calm. It looks like when I did my extruded pull in, it just pulled in the whole back wall. So I just need to do a quick little patch job there. There we go. Beautiful. And what you can see is it actually looks way more realistic too. Like these shelves have some substance to them now. Okay, so really quickly, let's just do the last shelves and then we'll probably call this tutorial good. Okay, the standard sizing for shelves from that point on, like you could do a couple big shelves, like you definitely could if you wanted to. But I'm going to do all 12-inch shelves, which is kind of like a standard bookshelf spacing from that point onward. And so I'm just going to do them all 12 inches of gap and then 1 inch of like actual thickness of wood, and then another 12-inch gap until we get close to the top so that you can quickly see how easy it is to model like the rest of these shelves. All right, 12 inches. And then a 1 inch gap. And let's go ahead now and one more shelf. Yep, just trying to skip to the good part. There we go, 12-inch doot, 1 inch gap. And in general, there's no rules here. If it's a shelf that you're gonna have to go and build yourself anyways, you can make it whatever size you want. I'm also going to leave a 4-inch gap at the top because we're going to put some crown molding up there. But now I'm going to delete out, I'm going to try to delete out the faces there. And you can see these shelves look good, but they are not yet extruded surfaces. So let's just go ahead and extrude them all. And then I'm just going to have to close their faces again. But extrude these shelf surfaces into that back wall and just take your pencil, come down and close them all up so that they look like solid chunks of wood. There are some snap features of SketchUp that don't seem super smart or intuitive at first. And you realize eventually, like they all do a decent service for you, but sometimes you're like, couldn't it just not assume that I want feature X or feature Y, but overall, I have basically no complaints about SketchUp because when I was in college, I had a SolidWorks course, and the teacher would go on about like how expensive 3D modeling was and how like it's very hard to find open source software that does a good job. And so I actually think for an open source software, SketchUp's pretty tremendous. You just have to kind of navigate the learning curve of figuring it out. But okay, I used that anecdote as a cover so that I could pull all these shelves over into my right bookshelf as well. And now we just have to make the shelves deep again. Pull them into the back wall. Pull them into the back wall. And there we go. Control Z. Goodness gracious. Goodness. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so honestly, we could go more into like what to do about the outlets, how to get more dimensions in here, how to get like different colors in here if you wanted to. But I think what you came for in this video was how to model built-in bookshelves in SketchUp, and I think that's what you got. Hopefully, in just around 20 minutes, you got an idea of how to make super realistic looking built-in bookshelves. And, if you like this video, if you like SketchUp content on my channel, be sure to let me know because I don't do a ton of it, but some people who have watched my videos really like the SketchUp. So just let me know if this is sort of stuff that interests you and you want to see more of, and I can start mixing it into my regular content. I will always continue circling back to like Python and Arduino and controls and automation engineering stuff. But more than happy to add more 3D modeling content as well. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the whole SketchUp playlist as well as lots of other cool content on the channel. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye.